Hi guys, I've always been more of a savory rather than a sweet person. So today let's talk about something salty. We've been told for decades that salt raises blood pressure and that we should all eat less of it. But what if the real problem isn't salt but stagnation? What if the body is simply trying to move energy through blocked channels and we've been blaming the messenger? Let's unpack this. High blood pressure is defined as a condition where the force of blood against the artery walls is too high. Straightforward enough, right? But as usual, modern medicine tends to focus on managing the number rather than understanding why that number is high in the first place. And salt, poor salt, has become the easy villain. Now, before anyone gets defensive on either side, let me clarify. Eating too much salt can absolutely cause issues, including hypertension. So this isn't a salt is perfect message. It's about nuance, about understanding what's really going on and how to restore balance instead of just silencing symptoms. From what I've come to understand, the most logical explanation for high blood pressure, as far as I'm concerned, is a lack of flow in the body. When I say flow, I don't just mean energy flow, although that's part of it. I'm talking about literal circulation, lymphatic movement, even the body's electrical conductivity. The body's internal rivers, blood, lymph, interstitial fluids, they start moving sluggishly when we eat processed food, when we sit for too long, stress too much, breathe too shallowly, and avoid sunlight or grounding. When there isn't enough flow, blood becomes thicker and oxygen delivery slows down. The body, in its wisdom, compensates. It increases blood pressure, sometimes by tightening the blood vessels to make sure nutrients still reach the cells. So hypertension, in many cases, isn't a random malfunction. It's a response, a short-term adaptation meant to preserve life. Just like inflammation is a healing response that becomes problematic only when it turns chronic, high blood pressure becomes dangerous when the body never gets the chance to relax, when stress, dehydration, and poor lifestyle keep the pressure mode switched on. Now, here's the irony. When we take a pill to suppress the blood pressure without fixing the flow, we might protect the engine temporarily, but we also weaken the body's own capacity to self-regulate. The deeper imbalances, dehydration, inflammation, tension, they all remain untouched. In that same low flow state, adding a lot of refined salt without enough water can definitely make things worse. But cutting out salt entirely also doesn't fix the root issue. The body needs sodium. It's essential for nerve transmission, muscle contraction, and maintaining our internal electrical charge. The real key lies, as usual, in balance. Most people today are actually deficient in potassium, not overloaded with sodium. So instead of obsessing about low salt, it's actually wiser to restore the sodium to potassium ratio. Foods rich in potassium like avocados, leafy greens, bananas, squash, coconut water, and sweet potatoes, these help bring that equilibrium back. And there's another overlooked factor as well, insulin resistance. When we eat too many refined carbs and sugars, our cells become less responsive to insulin and the kidneys start retaining sodium. That raises blood pressure. Again, not a random defect, but the body adapting to a poor metabolic environment. Ironically, some people also have too little salt, especially those who sweat a lot, fast regularly, or drink tons of plain water. That can cause dizziness, fatigue, headaches, even low blood pressure. So less salt for everyone isn't a one-size-fits-all rule. Context matters as always. Now, let's talk about quality, because all salts are not created equal. Refined table salt, the bright white anti-caked version, this one is stripped of minerals and often contains additives. The iodized salt you see in stores was originally useful for inland populations with iodine deficiency. But most of us can now get iodine naturally from seafood, eggs, and in some cases from seaweed. So what should we use? Well, natural unrefined salts are great, like Celtic sea salt, Himalayan pink salt, or real mineral-rich rock salts. These contain trace minerals that help regulate the body's fluid balance and electrical conductivity. That said, sea salt today may contain microplastics, a side effect of modern pollution, which is why I personally lean toward Himalayan salt. It's mined from ancient deposits formed long before we humans started dumping plastic into the oceans. Also, you might have heard that adding a pinch of salt to your drinking water can help with hydration. There's actually some truth to that. Minerals can enhance cellular absorption of water, but moderation is key. I've tried it a few times myself, harmless in small doses, though one day I added too much and found myself wondering why my green tea tasted like seawater. So, to sum it up, salt isn't the problem. Stagnation probably is. Secondly, balance sodium with potassium. Third, choose natural mineral-rich salts. And fourth, stay hydrated, move, breathe deeply, get enough sunshine, and let your body flow. When you address those foundations, the numbers often take care of themselves. Because the body isn't broken, it's intelligent. That's actually the core message of almost all my videos. The body is always adapting, always compensating, always trying to bring us back into balance. Our job is to listen, not silence it. So as from today, if you're not already, start listening.